And we're back. It's the next day, and actually today I actually have help because I actually do need help from friends. So he doesn't like the camera, so he's not gonna be on camera. It'll be funny if I just show him, you know, the camera, but he doesn't like to be on camera. So I'm gonna respect his wishes. But today I pretty much have everything ready to go. I've actually took the harness from the old transmission and put it in the new one because the new one had the plug that was broken. So pretty much took it all bare, all the whole harness is all out, and I just transferred it to that one over there. So like I said, I can't really fit the transmission into underneath the car with the trans jack. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the transmission, I'm going to slide it in underneath the car, right, where that hole for the transmission hole is at. I'm going to take the jacks, right after I lower the car again, I'm going to take the jacks, I'm going to put it like the jack like underneath here in the front, and then maybe another jack in the back, and then lift it up high enough where I can actually slide the transmission jack underneath right here by the oil pan, so it sits there so it can be easier, because there's no way we're gonna use two jacks to lift this up, and then you know, it's definitely not gonna be easy at all. So we gotta use that trans jack. So hopefully it'll work and I can get this done, because if not, then it's gonna be a huge fail. So let's see if we can try. Oh yeah, by the way, I had a huge mess already. Kind of cleaned it up, but look at that whole mess of diff fluid. Even though I actually, you know, flushed out the fluid, all that is a huge mess of diff fluid. So let's see. Alright, so it took us a little while, but we got it underneath there. So now it's going to be try to jack it from here and jack it from back there to try to lift it up enough so I can get the trans jack, which is back there, underneath that. So let's just hope that it works. Alright, so after maybe 2 hours to 3 hours, we were finally able to actually put the transmission in, kind of slide it in. We had a little problem with trying to angle. There was like one side higher than the other side. But what actually helped was actually like lifting the engine up a little bit and then kind of pushing the engine down. That helped to, like, if you push the engine from the back while it was lifted, it would help like angle it down a little bit, so we were able to get the transmission kind of connected, like line it up with all the holes. The transmission did, when we started, it did fall sideways, so there was some cables that got a little messed up. So I'm hoping that little fix that I did, it actually held up. And I'm a little afraid that it's not aligned correctly inside, but I mean, everything is closed, like everything is closed, so everything pretty much is put up. All the bell housing is already connected, the starter motor is already connected, and then what I'm doing now is just putting all the little small stuff that I have to, you know, connect, the some part of the transmission mounts, some of the bolts, bolts for the shifter, and then just gotta make sure that every single bolt, it's connected and tight, and from there is just hope that everything is good. I gotta flush the diff again, and or this diff, and then put the new fluids in. Yeah, I hope everything goes well. I am scared. I hope it turns on. I hope it runs. That's the most important thing. It runs and there's no shaking. It's running perfect. So let's see.
A few moments later.
All right, so after a little bit of time, I pretty much have everything completed. The only thing that I have left is to drain the old diff fluid, put the new diff fluid in, double check all my plugs, double check all my bolts, and turn it on, and hopefully everything works and it's not breaking, nothing makes a huge nasty noise. But it is getting late. It is nice and dark outside. That's why my garage is closed, because there's no light coming from outside. Inside, I'm pooped, I'm tired, I am extremely dirty, and I was hoping, I wanted to finish it today, and I can finish it today, but I prefer to wait, you know, till tomorrow when I have daylight, just to make sure. I have a couple bolts around that I don't know where they go to, and I'm guessing that's what I have to double check. I know there's like some bolts that come from the old transmission that the new transmission had, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. But I really don't have anything else. I'm just gonna relax. It's a good day. I think we did a good job, me and Janelle, my friend, that he left early, but with his help, without his help, I couldn't put this transmission together. We did run into a couple problems. There was actually one of those little pins that are in the transmission that are actually in the engine to the transmission. The transmission had one stuck that was from the old engine to the new one. And let me see if I can show you. This little pin right here, this is attached into the engine, and then this has to align into the transmission. So the old transmission had this one, and we're trying to, you know, slam it together, and then there was one in the transmission, one in the engine, and just kind of tapping each other. And then we finally figured out, we were like thinking like, how the hell are we going to take this out? And we were able to use these pliers and, you know, and pull it out. So that was one of the little problems. Oops. Like I said earlier, we also dropped the transmission, so I messed the plug a little bit, but that is, hopefully I fixed that. And that's pretty much it. See you guys tomorrow.
The next day.
All right, we're back, and everything, all the fluids have been inside the car. Everything has been drained, everything has been replaced. One thing I do have to say, when I went underneath and to replace the diff fluid, the CVT fluid, the little drain plug, was loose, so it was actually leaking. The CVT fluid was actually leaking, so I had to go back all the way to Subaru, by about like 6 liters, and I just put some inside. So it is the moment of truth, and I am shaking like crazy because I am so afraid that if something happens, I might just put fire in the car and then just, you know, forget about it, you know. So let's see if it works. So it's making a little bit of noise and like a little bit of a tapping noise, and I think it's because I'm missing one bolt from the transmission mount, because I'm missing something and I can't find it. It's like a little rubber mount that goes on the transmission, but so far it seems like all the wheels are turning. It was making a little bit of noise because I think that the it didn't have enough fluids. So, but right now I'm waiting it to kind of like go into temp, and I still have to put more fluid, more CVT fluid in there while it's actually idling. So let me do that right now real quick before we finish it up and everything. It has thrown me a code, which I think is because the fluid level is down. But once I throw the fluid, put the fluid in, turned off, I'm going to check the codes real quick and see if that's what it is. Okay. All right, it is the moment of truth. I have filled up the Crosstrek with all the fluids. Everything is connected. It's not making. It was there was like a little buzzing sound, which I'm pretty sure is because it needed more fluids. And of course I had the check engine light, and I checked the code. Code was for like the pressure sensor for the transmission, so which means it was low on fluid. So I put all the fluids the correct way to do it, and then now it's the moment of truth, and drive it around. I put it on drive while it was on 4s, and everything was turning and not making any extra noises that I don't know, but let's see. Wow, it got really cold real quick. I should have let the car warm up, because you have to have the car warm up before when you put the rest of the fluid in. So it has to be in a certain temperature, so it has to be like warmed up. So I did that when it was warmed, and I put you got to put fluids while it's idling after you did like the initial you put fluids in the initial time, and then you have to turn the car on. You have to put it in, you have to put it in all the gears, and then go back, and then while it's idling, then you put the then you put some more fluids in there. So let's see how it drives. All right, so far it's actually driving fine. I know that the transmission has to like kind of like learn my way to like driving, so it kind of does like a little shifts like sometimes in the wrong time, but it's actually getting better the way it's shifting. At first it didn't seem like it was going in gear, like it was staying like in second gear for like the longest time. But there's like a little sound on my tire or something. It's like making a little like sound. You hear that? See if you can hear it. Can't tell what it is, but I'm gonna go and check my check the tires out, make sure that there's nothing actually touching anything that spins, because it seems like it's touching something that spins, or something's loose. So I don't know, but I'm gonna double check that. But so far I don't have the noises from the differential like I used to, and it's driving fine so far. No code so far. I gotta keep driving at least 50 miles to see if I get a code or not, just in case, because I was told that I might have needed like a reprogramming of the transmission, but it's used transmission, so it's not like it's brand new that it needs a programming. But let's see. I'm just gonna keep driving around, especially around my neighborhood, because I don't want to go too far just in case if I break down. And then from there we'll see.